How's it going, everybody? Welcome to week 9 of college football. Can you believe it's this far into the season already? I can't. I missed last week. I was at a conference all week, so out of town. Wasn't able to really keep up with football. Worked out all right because Iowa State was on a bye week. Tough week before that for Iowa State, though. But let's just get into it. I really didn't pay much attention to football over the last couple weeks, so apologies, not really updated. I'm going to throw the results from week 7 on the screen here, so flashbang in 3, 2, 1, and we're just going to walk through how I did during this week. So for Kansas, Texas Tech, I picked I'll say the spreads, and if I won, I picked minus 14.5 Texas Tech. That won. BYU, Arizona, I picked BYU minus 1.5. I guess it went into double overtime. Probably was an exciting game. That one won. Arizona State, Utah, I picked minus 5.5 Utah. Cleared that, no problem. Iowa State, Colorado, I picked ISU minus 2.5. Obviously didn't happen. I'm not too shocked, but it was a sad sight to see how they lost. UCF, Cincinnati, I picked Cincinnati minus 11.5. They just didn't make it. Houston, Oklahoma State, I picked Houston minus 14.5, and that was fine. TCU, Kansas State, I picked TCU minus 1.5, and Kansas State beat them last week. See how things did. Iowa State and Kansas State were on a bye. Probably some other teams. But Arizona State beat Texas Tech. That's surprising. I didn't get to really watch much of this. I did watch a little bit of Holy Wars. Was disappointed to see BYU win. Cincinnati crushed Oklahoma State. That's no problem. Houston and Arizona was close. And TCU and Baylor were close. UCF and West Virginia was not close. So I don't know what the spreads were going into that, but I probably would have shot 50-50 again. Went 4-3 last week. That means I'm 16-14 overall. So I have a 1.8 ROI if you're betting all these. Help your soul. But we'll jump into these games. I don't know why I have the non-Big 12 up front on the tabs, but we'll skip those for now. We've got the Sunflower Showdown going on here. Right early in the morning in Lawrence, Kansas. This is their nice rivalry game. Train going by. Would be fun to watch. This weekend is Iowa State's homecoming, so I'll be at a big homecoming tailgate that I partly host, and lots open at 8:30 in the morning, so it'll be a nice early game. 2:30 kick for us, facing BYU, but we'll get into that in a minute. Either way, probably won't be paying too much attention to these early games or any of the other games that are going on today, unless they're late in the day. But Kansas State seems to be rebounding a little bit from when they, dropped dead at the beginning of the season. And this is a rivalry game. Anything can happen. They're 2.5-point underdogs, which means it's a toss-up game. Considering Kansas is at home, I'm going to take plus 2.5 Kansas State on this one, I think. I'm going to root for them in their rivalry. Next up, BYU at Iowa State. I'm confused as to how Iowa State is favored in this game. I guess there's a little bit of home field advantage, but I don't know. BYU seems to be really good, and I have no idea why Iowa State is favored at all. Our team is very badly injured. The good thing is we're playing at home, so we can't get this field stormed on us when we lose. But I really don't see much of a world where Iowa State is winning this game, to be honest. I'm taking the BYU plus 3.5, and that feels, I don't know, this has to be a trap or something. Obviously, I would homer Iowa State if I could, but this just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why Iowa State is favored. I'd honestly not be surprised if we lost by a touchdown. Sad to say, I think we're just an injury-riddled team. Rocco Becht can only carry the team so hard. Our rush game's not great. It's an interesting world we live in. I can't pick Iowa State to win this game, though. Now, a game that is interesting to pick, only because the spread is 38.5 points, is Texas Tech and Oklahoma State playing each other. I think this is a dumb spread. Tech is obviously going to win, but do you think they cover 38.5 points? My gut says no, because that's a lot of points. That's what? 5 touchdowns and a field goal? Can they do it against Oklahoma State? Sure. Will they? I don't know. These aren't 38-point spreads. Sure, Texas Tech is better than Cincinnati, but I don't know. I feel like that's just too many points, so I'm going Oklahoma State plus 38.5. I know I said I would keep picking against them until it stopped working, but that is just too many points. And this over-under is implying that they're going to get a couple scores, so I don't know. Next up, we got Baylor at Cincinnati around the same time. Cincinnati's 4.5-point favorite. I think that Cincinnati is pretty darn good. Sleeper, I don't know what they were ranked preseason, but they've come up from the bottom of the optics, at least. Second in the conference, the only 4-0 team besides BYU. I'm picking Cincinnati minus 4.5 in this one. I think they got it just fine. Team that doesn't have it just fine is West Virginia. TCU can probably easily cover a 15.5-point spread. TCU is, I guess, not as much of a dark horse as I thought they were going to be at the start of the season, but they're still a pretty good team in the Big 12, that's for sure. And I don't think West Virginia is that great still, so I'm going to pick TCU to cover. I wish it wasn't a 15.5. That's a weird number, but we'll take it. We got Houston at Arizona State. Arizona State's a pretty good team. I get Houston. I don't think Houston's played as many people, but Arizona State's played a lot of hard opponents. I like Sam Levitt. I don't keep up much with Houston. It's going to be 86 degrees. That's ridiculous. I'm freezing my toes off right now with the window open. But anyways, I digress. I'm picking Arizona State minus 7.5. I think they'll be fine, especially if you get plus money for that. I know it's a hook, but they'll be fine. Final game, latest game of the weekend. There's no Hawaii game. Latest game of the whole slate this weekend. Colorado at Utah. And, Utah disappointing, lost to BYU. Made some mistakes. Both of the teams made some pretty big mistakes. But this has gone down 2 points, so it's crossed the 2-touchdown mark. I think Utah at this point, I'd take minus 13.5. Still don't like Colorado. Going to keep rooting against them, so go Utah. Now we'll bring it back to the other games. We've got Virginia and North Carolina. Down with the fighting Bill Belichick's is what I always say. That's what I usually say. But yeah, go Virginia. Virginia's doing great. This is their more recent edition. I don't know too much about them. Don't keep up with them. But I will always enjoy watching Bill Belichick lose. So, look at that. Virginia's played some football. So, down with North Carolina. I don't know if this is a rivalry game or anything, but it's at least two top 15 teams going at it, Mizzou and Vandy. Vandy didn't beat Alabama like I wanted them to, but they beat LSU. They've played two ranked 10s and a rank 11. Vandy's really good. Mizzou is also decent. I don't know where I would go on this one. I would probably, since it's 2.5, I'd probably take Vanderbilt. But, hopefully it's a good game. This must be a really exciting game if the cheapest ticket is $250. But hopefully, it's a good game. I think it could go either way, honestly. I don't know. Alabama and the Gamecocks. Going Alabama on this one, clearly. They can probably cover 11.5 points, considering their matchup predictor is 82% if you trust ESPN analytics. But who knows? The number has gone down 2 points. I'd take Alabama minus the spread, but that's just me. Bit of a rivalry game here. Same time as Iowa State's game, though. Minnesota, Iowa. I don't think Iowa's going to have any problem beating them. If they can score enough to cover an 8.5-point spread is another thing, but that doesn't really matter as long as Iowa beats them. So I think Iowa will win this game, I hope. More Iowa wins is a better look for Iowa State. And they need all the help they can get right now in terms of optics. I got Texas at Mississippi State. I don't think this will be much of an issue. I think Texas should be fine. Should clearly cover a 6.5-point spread if Texas is anything. But, Arch Manning sucks. So I wouldn't, put too much hope into that. Really, if Texas loses, that's fine with me. I would be surprised if they did, but, I wouldn't not prefer it. Wisconsin and Oregon. Don't think there's going to be much of an issue here for Oregon. 33.5-point spread. Wisconsin just sucks so bad. It's kind of unfathomable. They haven't scored in their last 2 games, so that's something. They've gone, that's crazy. I mean, last week it was Ohio State, so, hardest team in the country, but still, you got to score at least a field goal or something. But what did that say about Nick Saban? Oh, anyways, so, especially if Wisconsin has to travel to Oregon, this might be the 3rd game in a row that they don't score any points. And now we've got the inter-Michigan Civil War here. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue for the Michigan Wolverines. They could probably cover 14.5 points just fine. I don't know much about Michigan State. I don't think they're super great. Michigan is kind of on another plane, but they're not as good as they have been in past years. But they're still a decent team. So I would take Michigan to cover the points in this one just fine. And that about wraps it up for the football. Kind of breezed through this one. I won the 2nd game in one of my leagues for fantasy football this week. I accidentally kept Deebo Samuel in when he was out, so I scored no points, but thankfully the Browns defense got 25 fantasy points and I squeaked out a win, so now I'm in 9th place instead of 10th place in the league. So look at me go. Otherwise, in my other league, I'm on a 3-win streak. I'm at 3-4 overall. Did pretty good this week. Scored about 165 points. Had a great time. And hoping to go 4-4. Make the overall 500. And call it good. It's another rare sight that the Bears are 4-0. Or not 4-0, but on a 4-win streak. First time since 2018, I believe the stat is. They're actually looking like a good team all of a sudden. 2 weeks ago when Caleb Williams had that game-winning drive that ended up in a field goal and won the game. That's crazy. It looked so good. This week looked good too. And I'm just happy about that. It's weird. I haven't felt that in a while with the Bears. NBA season started on the 21st, so if you're into NBA, check that out. I don't keep up with it much. I'll dabble in the sports betting a bit with it, but I don't watch the games or anything, unless my brother's showing me the playoff games. I don't keep up with NBA. So that's about the gist of it. I'm going to enjoy the cold weather of the homecoming tailgate this weekend, enjoy the last bastion of home football games for the season, and love life. Take care, everyone. I hope your football week goes well, and I hope your fantasy leagues are going well. Don't get punished.